I was at Game 3 in New York. Matt and I, actually, we were there. We're sitting on third base line. Only people in Yankee Stadium. This is 2004. We are down that game. We lost that game, so we're down 3. Right?
Yes.
Am I getting it right? Yeah. And A-Rod is there at third. And I don't think I've ever had this happen. I've been to a million baseball games, dude, and been loud. And I've never had the players acknowledge me. And dude, we were there, the only people I think wearing Red Sox hat. Ballsy move, by the way, in Yankee Stadium. And I'm being loud. And eventually, A-Rod looks over right at us, just stares. It gives a look of like it's just a mosquito that's been in his ear all night. You know what I mean? Like hate, just annoyance, hate, and then he goes back to the game. It's one of my proudest moments as a fan. And then we lose that game. That's the last game of the curse. I like to think that we broke the curse. Then it's the first game in Boston, right, which is Game 4. That game, which I guess you had Poppy on to talk about or whatever. But I know a lot of people talk about it. But when I was thinking about that game, I was like, the most interesting thing about that game is how, and he wouldn't say this probably, is how unremarkable it actually was. It was like no historically good performance on the mound or at the plate. It was like their guys were slumping. Veritek was kind of everyone stayed kind of slumping. Who was it second? He had a few like
Petey.
Yeah.
It was Pedroia.
No, it wasn't.
No.
That's Pokey
Reese back then.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was a couple like infield errors. It was like not a great game. It was like it wasn't a shutout. It wasn't a blowout. It just they went back and forth. Like they had the lead, we had the lead, they had the lead. Am I right?
Went to extras too, I think, a little bit.
And then in the ninth inning, they bring in Rivera, and the only unusual thing that happens, other than it being like we're on the brink of falling apart, of losing the season, is that he walks the leadoff batter. And then it was like that never happened. And then things started to turn.
And then it was Robert Steele.
And then we tied it up. And then it went over. But it only went like a few innings.
Mark Bellhorn.
Yeah, Mark Bellhorn.
Bellhorn and Veritek were both slumping, and then Bellhorn a couple errors. Good dude, good player, bad game, but whatever. And then and so it was kind of like a nothing game. It's only in the context of the 100-year picture of what was happening that it becomes a great game. Because Big Papi hits it out to win the game. But he's doing that. That's not even that uncommon. You know what I mean? Like how many times did he hit a walk-off? So Ortiz gets a walk-off and it's a big celebration and they stay alive. But it only becomes an important game because it was the first game that starts the next 7 where they just run it. So that's why I love that game. It's just like everyday baseball in a weird way. And it's just the big picture story of it that makes it awesome.
And another one of those games, classic Yankees Red Sox, takes about 4 hours. It's a war of attrition.
Yeah.
No one leaves. Stadium's still packed. But you're right. Then there are those moments where it like switches and becomes historic.
Who was it? Derek Lowe? Where does it say? Is it?
Derek Lowe would have been in Game 4. The one we came back was that was Derek Lowe. Yep,
it was Derek Lowe.
Derek Lowe, Mike
who was
Timlin,
not like
Falk.
Was not being given for some reason. I feel like he had something to prove.
Oh yeah.
What was it? Was he dropped or something? He was like pissed.
But he was absolutely insane that postseason run. Let me see what
Beckett
was.
But he only threw a few. He gave up a few runs. He only threw like 4 or 5 innings. I don't know if you have the stats, but it was all kind of like, meh. Like, where's this going?
Did you go to any more games after you went to the Game 3? You didn't see the rest.
I didn't see the rest. That was the only one I could get to. And I had a brand new baby. My son was born May 31st, 2004. So I remember we were in this tiny apartment in New York when they won. I'm watching it on TV. Kid is sleeping. My girlfriend didn't care about baseball. It's one room, bed, TV, kitchen. I'm like silently like, going crazy. She's like, what is happening? Shut up. The infant is sleeping. I was like losing my mind.
Who's your first call? Was it your dad?
I think
you got
I don't know. Maybe it was my brother. I don't know where he was. It might have been a dude I worked at Fenway with. This guy, we worked like every home. It wasn't even a very good friend of mine at the time, but he was the kid I watched 100 million games with, losing, always losing. Oakland A's coming in. Only home runs we ever caught when I was there was the other team. They'd come over the monster, you'd go like get the ball.